crap, it's me. Well, guess what? If you were looking for John Krupp, he's not here. John said he's indisposed and will be joining us. I'm sure he's working on some crazy news tips or some shit like that. But in the meantime, we're going to bring a fellow Floridian. I don't know if he counts as a Floridian anymore, a friend of mine, and somebody that also did go to Iraq veteran IV 8888. How's it going, man?
We just call it infinity because all you gotta do is just rotate the 8, and it's like forever. I'm just saying, like, why hasn't nobody done this yet?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm doing great. How about you,
I
Rick?
guess.
Wait a minute. And for information,
good.
I was born in Miami, Florida, so yes, I am in fact a native Floridian, and I still count as that.
Unlike me, who's a carpetbagger from New York.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. It's okay. You're my favorite one so far. Okay, so.
Yep. So I think you've been to more Iraq veterans than I have. Almost. Well, no, maybe another year.
Yeah, I think you've been doing it like a year before me. You went to that one with the hurricane, right?
No. I think I've been to 4 total. You've been to 3 total now.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, because they were running it twice a year, which was, oh my god, that was like the best thing ever. I missed that.
So now I'm going to trash on Hank Strange because Hank Strange does these van life videos, and he's got this whole bougie van set up. You kind of got the Toyota Highlander life going on.
No, it's the 4Runner. It's the 4Runner.
4Runner?
Yeah.
Wait. Is the 4Runner the Hilux in other places of the world, or?
Kinda, sorta, yeah. It's I don't know. It's more like a Sequoia, if anything. It's like a weird hybrid.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But overall, I love my 4Runner. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Well, besides the gas mileage. But we don't.
So, yeah, and we're actually talking about that yesterday. I was quipping about my Envoy because the stupid Envoy, I get 16 miles to a gallon no matter what. It's a 4.2 liter straight 6. Now the weird thing was, I lost power for 8 hours. I don't know how long maybe I had it running for 7 hours. I don't think I had it running for the full 8. So it took me a little while to figure a plan and jump on it. So it might be for 7 hours, I idled the Envoy with this inverter. It's a 4,000 watt peak, like 4,600 peak, 2,300 continuous inverter. I powered 2 refrigerators, my cable modem, my router, and 2 laptops, like my personal computer and my work computer. And I used, I would swear, a 1/16 of a tank of gas. So it's a 22-gallon tank. I absolutely didn't use more than a quarter tank. So let's just say quarter tank. Well, half is what? 22 gallons. Half is 11. Half of 11 is 5.5. Let's just say I didn't use more than 5 gallons, probably less than a gallon an hour, idling the Envoy and using it to power the inverter. Meanwhile, I hear these neighbors, it was, 4-stroke city here, small engines just blasting. And, the Envoy, just like any other modern vehicles, nearly silent. And, so it's a little stealthy, not super stealthy, but a little stealthy. Plus, a prepper buddy of mine, so I'm in this house like going to be 8 years, I think. So when the first hurricane was coming my way, I'm like, oh my gosh, generators. And so apparently, and I don't know if this is a fact or not, but it might be just wild rumor, might be Florida man rumor, is that people will go to Home Depot, buy a generator, and you can return it without penalty after 90 days or up to 90 days. So people will grab a generator and sit on it and then bring it back.
Yeah. Well, that's if you can find the generator in the first place. Especially
Right. So I guess,
yeah.
before hurricane season, just, grab a generator. I've heard also generator stories like, Woot had generators. So that somebody told me they got a good deal on a Woot generator. But
Yeah.
so, Woot, they do these like flash sales. So you got to like jump in on it, and like you got 12 hours or so to buy something. So what I did, a buddy of mine's like, hey, all right, fine. You can't get a generator, get a big honking inverter,
Yep.
and that's what I did.
Nice.
Now, originally, my game plan was, my wife had a diesel Jetta, so diesel fuel stores for a long time. It's very stable, unlike gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal was that we were gonna, just I had a bunch of diesel stored, and we were just gonna run her car, which was a good plan at the time. Now, a buddy of mine has done a similar thing. He's got a Prius, and with a hybrid, my wife now has a Lexus hybrid, and apparently you can just, because the hybrid will turn on and off, and if it senses the battery getting drained down, it'll turn on and charge. I haven't tested this. My buddy said it works with his Prius, but I haven't tried it with my wife's Lexus, which is just an overgrown Prius.
Yeah.
But that'd be an interesting, case study also, because then you're not running the engine all the time, like the Envoy, so it'd be more efficient, hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you also have to consider the cost of whatever that repair or maintenance would be. At least that's what I think overall. So it's like, it's going to cost me more to fix the newer car because way more expensive components, way more parts, Whereas the Envoy, the parts have already proliferated everywhere. So it's like,
I'd
rather use the older car. I probably wouldn't stress out the newer one. But yeah, that's actually, that's a fucking genius idea that a lot of people forget, to be honest. I mean, I can kind of see that maybe, people forget and they just let it run all damn night and then, run out of gas. And I don't know, if you prepare smartly enough, you'd ultimately save a lot more money just using your car. Because you could buy a generator and then turn around and return it if you don't like it, but I think that's just such a fucking mission you have to go through every single time. I mean, I don't know.
So AC power is a big pain in the ass, for a number of reasons, because you have to have the potential to push those electrons all the time, where a battery, when you have DC power is just on demand, basically.
Right.
So, so you weren't in town. Where were you when the hurricane hit?
Oh boy, we were in Columbia, South Carolina, and we were on standby because we were waiting to see if we were going to get where to go deploy down there. And I didn't hear anything, but apparently all the communications in that area, like all the towers and shit, they got knocked the fuck out. Every bit of it. The Comcast, everybody went down immediately. Like it was fucking insane. And we were getting mostly the residual winds up in South Carolina. And the whole time my heart is like pounding, and I'm like, I'm not even there, and I'm there freaking out, but I'm more freaking out because it's like, God, I hope everybody's gonna be okay so we can, handle, what we got to do over there for work and everything. Because like, man, their office is in Fort Myers, so it's like they got pretty bad, and at least I was terrified the whole time because I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen to the office and everything. And while we were up in South Carolina, I tried to do as many towers as I could, but man, the winds started ripping me apart up there. So it just got.
So can we talk about what you do for a living? Because I don't know if everybody knows.
Oh, okay. I do aerial and drone inspections for cell towers. I work pretty much all over the country with my beautiful wife, who's hiding right here, all sleepyhead. And we pretty much, live and breathe on the road every single day, going to new places, checking out towers, doing all sorts of cool stuff. And what? Oh yeah, and then I also do video work.
So you're living for the most part out of that's the missus, right? Say hi.
Say hi. Just wave your hand. There you go. Yeah, we're mostly living out of the truck. Reason being is that the hotels just get too stupid, and it's like I'd rather have that money go straight to my pocket. And fun fact, you could stay at cell towers. Just don't tell anybody. And I didn't tell you that. I never said anything. But yeah, you could stay wherever you ultimately want. So you got rest stops, you got truck stops, all sorts of good stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. It's tough as fuck. Because you're driving so damn much and you're having to constantly do something new every single day. Every single tower is something. It's a new challenge every time.
New
Whether it's
pterodactyl try to take your drone out of the sky.
yeah, or an osprey which got really damn close. So we were working on Myrtle Beach, I think it was, in South Carolina, whatever that beach was down there. I was doing what they call like a cable run, where I basically fly up the tower vertically at a slow speed, capturing everything in between and everything that's on the tower. And all of a sudden, I come up to T-Mobile's equipment, and then my drone just spins out, flips out, starts rotating backwards. It was getting destroyed by the RF signals and everything else. God knows what they were blasting.
Oh,
They were running their stuff at full power, and I was just like, oh fuck. And so after that, I panicked a little bit, and I was just like, okay, let me back up, let me do it again. Started doing it again. There was a fucking osprey just right at the top waiting for me, and he waited up there. He got off, right, and then he did one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my whole life. It was just unreal. So he held his wings up like an air brake, like a goddamn aircraft, and he was just hovering, waiting for me to make the next move. And then I descended, and then he just used the insane winds that we were getting and darted straight for me. Luckily, dodged it.
I'll tell you, one of the scariest freaking things. I guess I've had a few scary events flying airplanes, but you're flying along and you see an eagle, and an eagle will go right through the windshield of an airplane. It's just super super thin polycarbonate. And I'll tell you a story of a guy I know that flies a plane like mine, what happened to him. But you'll see them, and usually they see you long before you see them.
Yeah.
And so it's really, birds of prey, birds of prey have their eyes on the front of their head, and birds that are prey, in other words, food for the other ones, they have eyes on the side of their head, so they have really good 360 vision. But eagles and stuff have the eyes more towards the front of their head, and what they'll do, you'll see them flying, and if they see you and realize there's going to be a collision, they pull their wings in and just drop like a rock.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so fucking cool. Like he just air braked.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucker would have got me. He almost got me. I was very fortunate to back off just in time. I had to chase him off a little bit because he started trying to come back, and I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this, and I'm dealing with all the winds from the hurricane too. So it's just all these variables all in my head, everything going on, just everything was falling apart. But luckily we got it done, and we decided to shut down for the day, and then we moved on to Livonia. Yeah, because it just got too dangerous to fly, way too dangerous. So we just backed off, and we're like, oh, we'll come back. We'll get it done. And I don't want to miss this event for nothing, man. I was so hyped. I was so excited. I needed that. I needed it. We work every single day from sun up, sundown, nonstop. And the thing is, we do that because why the fuck not? Make the most out of it.
Well, you can only work during the daylight on your gig, so exactly. Days are getting short coming up.
Yeah, they don't allow night captures. But
how often do you ever get back to Florida?
Well, I'm in Florida right now. I had to renew my registration. Luckily, breezed through it, thank God. But the mere fact I had to drive 4 hours down just to put a piece of paper in my file, that's it. And then the lady tells me, yeah, you could have just got anybody else to go and do it for you. And I'm like, how does that work? They come in with my ID that I have to mail them, right? And then what? They do everything from there? I don't know. Bizarre. As for Florida, we don't get to visit it that much often. I got a lot of family, and I got so much friends and business in Florida, so it's like I love coming back every now and then, and we usually do it like every 2 to 3 months or so, just to like come
Oh
back and
wow.
like reset. Yeah, reset ourselves. Or at least for me, because it's you know being on the road and shit. It's so much fun. It's a lot. It's a lot of challenges, but it's like I miss my family. I miss my friends.
I was
It's
gonna
hard.
say,
It's hard.
because this is living out of your vehicle and being on the road, different destinations all the time.
Mhm.
That's you're like 100% that job. It's not like it's the complete opposite of me. I work remote, so 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I get an hour off for lunch. I'm wandering around, like honest. My work computer's here,
Mhm.
so I'm like this during the day, and I turn over here at 5 o'clock and I do a podcast. So that's kind of a big deal. And wow, Mr. FNH just mentioned something here. I mean, you could be in snow, blizzard. You could be anywhere.
Mhm.
So what's the furthest away from Florida you've gotten?
Man, honestly, westward, I would say Las Vegas for SHOT Show. That was the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
westward
I
we've
remember
been.
you're out at Shot.
Yeah. Most northern
Uh,
point would be Michigan, all the way up to
oh
like
wow. Okay.
Canada. And as far as East Coast, Cape Cod,
Oh
Massachusetts.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was
So
absolutely beautiful out there, but yeah, all those.
now, what year is this vehicle that you got?
She is a 2014
Oh,
SR5.
okay.
Uh, you know, she's got all the bells and whistles that I need. She's got some serious power when it comes to dealing with like any type of terrain. Durability wise. Because the thing is, a lot of the towers that we go to are up on mountains. They're either
That
up on
makes sense.
mountains, up on hills, up on dangerous areas, and she just plows through any type of terrain, any type. And the thing is, we got a lot of equipment, as you can kind of see. The way we kind of figured that out is we built a whole bed platform. So basically, we have all our equipment under, and we just have like little bits of our daily equipment on the top. Just move it over, and we have a little mattress thing, and we just set that up, and we're as comfortable as ever. To be honest.
Now, you didn't you post that on your Instagram?
Yeah, I did. I probably should have made some. I recorded a whole bunch of videos of the whole process of how I made it. The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I was so busy, and they just called us for like some major project, and they had a really tight deadline, so I kind of just let that get on the wayside, and I forgot a little bit about it. I've been
Oh,
meaning to,
okay.
and
Yeah,
I
I thought
should go back to it. I fucked
I
up.
thought you got a brand new vehicle. So, how many miles did it have when you got it?
She had 110. So
110. Whoa.
yeah,
Which for
yeah.
a Toyota, not a big deal, but
It's not like, especially for a 400. I mean, you could run that thing out to 400. They're unbeatable,
in
really.
it as far as if you're buying a 110,000 mile vehicle, was it one owner? How many owners did it have?
One owner actually. Yeah, only one
Okay.
single owner. It was well taken care of. I looked at all the Carfax reports. Everything was within, their mileages for oil changes, maintenance.
Gotcha.
She was very well taken care of. When we first saw it, like I trust me, I did like a very deep inspection of everything. Everything. This was probably the cleanest 2014 I've ever seen. And I even had
Oh, okay.
people
I thought it
share
was
with me.
brand new.
Yeah, no, it wasn't brand new. We got in a pickle. The reason why we have this girl, originally, they're waving your hand, was because we used to drive a van, right? A big old Dodge Caravan '08. And
Mm-hmm.
one time we were in Pennsylvania working on AT&T, and I drove up an ice mountain, right, to try to get to the tower. Upon halfway up the mountain, we started free spinning.
Yeah.
After that, it stopped spinning, and then we started going backwards down an icy
Oh
mountain. So,
shoot.
yeah,
Oh,
it was pretty intense.
that's
So, one side, right, is like, another part of the mountain going straight up. The other side is down here, and that's about like a 300 foot drop. God knows what's down there, what would stop us. So yeah, we immediately got stuck because the car started going backwards, and then it got sideways, and then it got caught into like a bit of the ditch along the pass. And so
Uh-huh.
we
Uh-huh.
decided, hey, let's go get our blowtorch, a couple of axes and crowbars, and we chipped our way out of the ice and managed to
Oh,
turn the
shoot.
whole thing around just barely, man. It was so insane. And
So,
yeah, we got out of there and we decided, you know what, it's time to pull the trigger. Because I've always
oh,
wanted to
okay,
do
all
it.
right. So you didn't ball it up. I was waiting for you to tell me you balled it up, and
No. We had like, we had a couple of thousands to throw down as a down payment, so that way they could show that we're fucking serious. Because it's like, we went to another dealer, and look, I'm not gonna really talk about, our income or anything, but let's just say it's in the six-figure range. And when I brought that up to him and everything else, and I showed him all my, stubs and everything, he goes,
mm-hmm,
"I can't
mm-hmm.
take this. I can't. I get like it doesn't show me anything." And I'm like,
All right, because you're a consultant, right? And you get paid corp to corp, right?
"Well, we're not a consultant. We're contractors because we're
Contractor, yeah.
so under my company, which is X7 Studios. We're contractors that we're subcontractors for another company, who's another subcontractor for another company, for another one, then to a vendor, and it's very complicated. I don't even know the full length of it. I don't really care. I'm just there to fly and do what I need to do. Yeah, and so I tried to, disclose that to them, and they didn't take that at all. And so they told me it was a Subaru dealer. I'm not gonna name any names. They told me that I need 3 months of all of your financial transactions.
Yeah,
3 months. So you're telling me you want to be able to see every single thing I've ever bought, every single thing I've ever spent anything on, and then you want to go through my history like that? Nah, the guy
mm-hmm.
goes, "Oh, this is going to take a while to do, so why don't you guys go to lunch, and then we'll talk about it again." I'm like, yeah, we're going to lunch. We'll be back, man. We'll be back. And my beautiful wife happened to find this girl in very, very good condition. Like, honestly, the inside was spotless. The leather was good.
Mm-hmm.
There was no damage, no crashes, nothing. Like, she was pretty well taken care of, and even the guy that let me test drive it, let me drive it up to a tower. Like, that's when I know. I put it in 4-wheel drive, and I'll never forget it. And I go, "Hey, can I go up that?" And he just goes, "Yeah, why not?" I'm like, "Okay, how do I put the 4
That
wheel
was
on this
cool.
thing? How do I do it?"
So
And so, yeah, it was history.
how did the financing work for you?
It worked pretty good. They got us a very good deal. We're doing about like 800 a month for it. So it's
But
not.
what percentage rate? Like, because I know in being a consultant or a
Yeah,
contractor, it's a unique condition.
yeah. I don't have those numbers, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably get back to
Because
you on that. Yeah.
I
Thought
had that.
it's not that high. I think it was like 6% or 5%. Wasn't anything.
Because I was all right. So I bought my first Genesis coupe, and I was there for 6 hours, and I probably did everything wrong. And I say, hey, look, I was bouncing back and forth between here and New York. So this is December. Actually, it was Christmas Eve 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just down here and I was heading back to New York. And I know in Connecticut, I could have got, was it, I don't know if it was like 26 grand or 32 grand, whatever the number was. I'm like, look, I can go, a buddy of mine can fly me up to Connecticut and I can buy one of these,
Mm-hmm.
And we haggled over the price for like 4 hours, and then we haggled over the financing. Now, I just paid off my Envoy ahead of time, never late, and that was with GMAC, which is now some other name, Ally, I believe. And
So. Yeah.
and they ran, they put it out there for who wants to, offer me a loan. And GMAC or Ally didn't even come up with the best rate. I'm like, wait a second. We already did a car. You got a good history with me. Why not this one? And I had to actually talk to the finance manager. I say, hey, man, at the time, like 2% was what cars, if you had a good credit rating, 2% is what you were getting for the interest. I'm like, dude, You give me this or I'm walking.
Right.
They're like, well, it's only 50 extra bucks a month. I'm like, fine. Then you do the 50 extra bucks. If it's only 50 bucks, it's only 50 bucks for you. Make the deal.
Right. Yeah.
And it's funny. I bumped into a guy at a gas station. He was driving a Genesis, one of the sedans. And I said to him, I'm like, oh, where'd you get it? And he was like, over here. And I'm like, that's the same dealer I spent 6 hours talking to. He's like, yeah. I call him up. I tell him I want to pay this much and this much interest. Ask them if they can do the deal. If not, I hang up the phone, call the next guy. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, you're the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So.
Well, I mean, look, we had some good people take care of us. They hooked us up, so we were very, very more than happy. And I was in a very tight spot. My credit score was, not that great because I finally paid off all my debts. I paid every single debt I owned, gone, wiped the fuck out. And then this whole thing happened, and I was like, oh, great. My credit score still didn't go up after trying to fix it. So yeah, we got what we could, and you know what? Honestly, we made the best of it. We did it in mind of what we make, like on a monthly basis. So we're not running dry at any point. We take care of our shit together, and it's like, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, buy the car in cash. No, I wish, man.
And God bless you if you can.
It's so fucking expensive. Like, Jesus Christ.
What is a new 4Runner cost?
No, that's a TRD Pro. I would say about 28 to 35,000. And that's just the stock models. The TRD.
I was gonna say that's the base model, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're gonna go all out, you may as well get the TRD Pro. It's far worth it. You got a lot more options, more crawl options, and I mean, granted, I don't necessarily need it because I've gone through almost every type of terrain, and I've kind of at least mastered what my vehicle is capable of and what I know I can do. Huh?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did everything I do in a van that was falling apart and with a catalytic half off. So it's like, I had a lot of experience, and then growing up in Miami, it's like, the traffic there is incredibly bad. So it's like everything worked. Everything worked well. But,
so a couple of guys are chipping in their comments, and there's some good pieces of advice here. So here's my 2007 Envoy. I got some frame rot. I got to see about getting repaired, but I like the idea. Not that I need it, but I like the idea of having a body on frame, 4-wheel drive. It's a truck chassis. That kind of thing. But
that's one of the reasons why I love the 4Runner, because it's like that body on frame construction is fucking genius, and it's like, dude, you can fight through anything. You really can.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But
the value of them never drops. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
That's also why I got it.
I want something that'll work with this. This is a comma AI system. Because I like, a lot of times, unless I'm doing, home maintenance stuff, I'll jump in the Envoy, I'll go to Home Depot, whatever, and do things. But if I got to run to New York or something like that, if I got to do a longer ride, I want to be able to push the button on here and have the damn car drive itself.
And I'm cheating cruise control.
Yeah,
God, that's one thing that they never will add to this fucking truck, man. It just drives me nuts because it's like that's like the most quality of life improvement of all time.
And you know what? So my daughter goes to school in Gainesville, and it's 4 hours. It's like 3.5, 4 hours to get there. And basically, I get on the turnpike, which is just outside my neighborhood. You know where I live.
Yeah.
And I just go for 4 hours. There's no turns. There's nothing until you hit 75. So it's just the first time you do it, it's not necessarily relaxing, but once you get used to once you get used to it driving the car, you're like, heck yeah. It's like, why would anybody ever not do this,
Yeah, why wasn't this like originally designed for every single vehicle ever? Everybody would be a better driver because of it. No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much technology you introduce. God, Atlanta was probably the worst drivers
So
of all time.
so realistically, that's why. So my wife has the Lexus RX 450 hybrid, and the reason we got the car, one, it's a hybrid, so she gets decent gas mileage. You know, she gets close to 30. Um, it not like it's an off-road vehicle. I don't want to say it's an off-road vehicle, but it has dual electric motors and a V6. So it actually has, I don't want to say four-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive capability.
Okay.
I have no, I would love to see somebody, I'm sure somebody's done it on YouTube where they go off-roading in one. I'm wondering how it would
It's
do.
happened. It's happened. Everything has been off-roaded at least once or twice. Every single thing. Listen, man. When I used to work on doing video work for training companies, my Honda Civic was off-roading everywhere.
Okay. Dude, all right. I remember that
pretty
Honda.
fucking scary. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
I was like, now I didn't know you so well at the time, and I was like, oh man, that's old and busted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, man, you've known me for like so many different cars. Funny enough, like you see me go through all those phases. But
I was like,
that's
oh
what it is, man.
man.
It's just stepping stones. Because honestly, I never thought I would be able to get my dream car, and honestly, the 4Runner, this thing right here, has been like a dream come true. And it's just like that.
Yeah, the Toyotas are great, and actually,
yeah.
so my wife, or my wife has a beef on the Lexus because she likes CarPlay, and I put an aftermarket CarPlay system in it, which doesn't work
I hate CarPlay
great.
so much. Yeah, it doesn't. I ordered a new screen for ours, and I cracked the first one. No, it came cracked. It came cracked. The thing is that the screen is so sensitive, and yeah, it's like a much bigger infotainment system because it's like it's just so much better. It's like picture like putting like a giant Android phone for a computer instead, and it's just so much better. But we'd have to go back to Orlando because they shipped me a new one, and very good company. Very good company. I don't want to say the name right now, but they're awesome. Hoping to fucking get that soon because I want it so bad. Because you can watch Netflix, you can watch anything you want, like YouTube,
there's
all
some,
that, and it's all connected to the car's central system. So it's like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, there's some nice systems out there. Well, so the newer, my wife's looking at some more of the luxury SUVs, and I used to be interested in high-end cars, and then I watch all the car YouTube channels, and I see everything that goes wrong with it. That's why, Lexus is a Toyota. It's a Toyota Highlander, the Lexus RX 450. It's a Toyota Highlander. And Toyotas just run. And that's...
They fight wars in them all the time, so it's like, why not? It's a proven freedom fighter truck.
My wife's like, well, I'd like to, what about this car? So-and-so has this, Jaguar SUV, and somebody has this BMW SUV. And I'm like, have you seen the repair costs on those, the maintenance bills? I'm like,
let alone the lead time. The lead times of that shit. It's like a lot of people don't think about that. When you buy those foreign cars and anything else like that, it's like, think about it first off on a maintenance level, and as well as like where can you get it serviced, It's not...
Right.
At least for us, it's not feasible to be able to go just anywhere. I mean, for anything like really critical, I strictly go to Toyota only. If it's anything else, then I either do it myself or I find a nice local shop that'll do it. And we've been to like hundreds at this point.
And so my cars, I do all the maintenance myself. So my Genesis Coupe and my Envoy, I've been on the road, so there are a couple of things I couldn't have done, and I had to pay. But for the most part, AC compressor, somebody else had to do it. But pretty much all of the maintenance I do on it on myself. Like I just replaced we were talking about this. I just did the new A-arms, ball joints, everything on the front end on the car. But so I'm going to talk stupid foreign cars. So I have a 2015 Genesis Coupe. I've just done tires and brakes and oil changes, just standard maintenance. I do have an ABS sensor out, which I'm gonna bring it to the dealer, get it replaced because I got a warranty on it. But the other are
Yeah.
normal wear items. So I have over 80,000 miles on my car, and just normal wear items. My wife's car, it's just tires, oil change, air filter, oil filter, just normal wear items. And I think she's up to 80,000 in that area on her car.
Damn. Okay.
So yeah, I love the Toyotas. I love the Toyota reliability and the low cost maintenance on them. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And not only that, another thing, it's like I find it's like almost like the Glock of the truck world, because you can find aftermarket parts for just about anything. You can even.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a trailer hitch on my wife's car because we towed a U-Haul trailer to college with all my daughter's stuff.
Oh my god, I don't envy that work. That's a lot of shit.
Oh, she's gonna need a U-Haul truck when she's done to come back.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And then I don't know where it's gonna go.
Mhm. Shit. Well, I wish her the best. Good luck. Good luck trying to figure out your life now, because it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Man.
So any thoughts, like what your next step is? There going to be upgrades on the Toyota, or what do you got in mind?
So we've got a lot of upgrades in mind. We just have to do them within reason, and also within. So right now, I guess I should just kind of point out, like right now, our biggest focus is trying to earn a passive income. Mainly because it's like I'd rather invest towards something like that to be able to try to push, more safety nets around us. Because I mean, a lot of what we do is very risky, and it's like, I mean, we've heard stories of like one pilot who legit rolled his truck off a mountain, and it was a Tacoma.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, he rolled his truck off an ice mountain. It was fucking wild, and there's just like part of me thought about that, and I'm like, I think it's time to step up to the plate and start working on trying to build a passive income. I've got quite a few routes that I had in mind towards that, but in terms of like car upgrades, the most critical one that we're doing is the suspension upgrade. That's typically the upgrade, at least I believe we should do first before we start doing all the tires, the rims, the bumpers, everything else, because trust me, we had plans to deck this whole thing out to something pretty damn sweet, and we're still going to do it, but within time and reasoning. Mainly because those bumpers that I had in mind are very heavy. And it's like, if you want to keep stacking weight on an already heavy vehicle,
okay,
you're going to be causing it to do this weird shit. It's going to look retarded. So
right.
we're going to be doing the patient route. I'm going to do the suspension first. I'm going to do like a stage 3 or 4. I'm not entirely sure just yet. Bilsteins, and get a nice 3.5-inch lift on her. Throw some bigger tires on her. Maybe some 33s. That's what I was kind of leaning towards. 33s, 32s. And then I'm gonna have to do some cuts. God, keep the Dremel tool away from me, please. You have no idea how much anxiety that shit gives me. I heard somebody using a Dremel at the range, and I was getting worried. I was just like,
whoa, at Iraq Veteran?
Yeah, somebody was using a Dremel there. I was just like, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, doesn't sound good.
So, all right, this is your third Iraq Veteran. Actually, so I kind of skipped the bird collision story. But let's talk Iraq Veterans. So, who was there? Who wasn't there? And how many people were there? So, vendors. I know JSD. Oh, I gotta do some JSD pimpage. JSD is having a competition on Glock build. So that's going to be on Out of Battery Live today. So tune in for that. I think it's going to be 9 o'clock tonight is going to be the first competition. Then tomorrow, 5 p.m., we're going to host the second competition. So JSD's got Glock builds. So JSD was planning on going to Iraq Veteran, but pulled out because of the storm.
Yeah, I was looking for them, and I was just like, oh man, they fucking skipped out. I don't blame them. Man, honestly, a lot of people. Well, okay. So the general consensus from that I got from at least most people was that there's a lot of damn people. Like it was a lot. They say it was at least 500-600. It was a lot.
I know that like 500 or 600 people registered to attend, and it basically people I know the failure rate started happening. So Crump's flight got canceled. Shooting New England was going to ride in Crump's rental car. Dark was going to drive. So he originally wasn't going to go, and then in the middle of the night decided to go, and then drove and got caught in the rain and was hydroplaning all over, and just turned around and went back home.
Smart.
So let's see, 3D Arms went, and which was cool, and Richard Hoffman went. So Richard is in Orlando, which is 2 hours from me. Right. And he said he made it without issue. So I was like, dang.
It was clear. I'm telling you, that ride from South Carolina to Livonia, and then I had to drive to Atlanta to go pick up a friend, it was a breeze, man. It was really a breeze. Like, that's the craziest thing is that it was such a feint. Like, I saw it from the weather maps from the get-go, like a day prior, that I was just like, you know what? I think we're going to be okay. Like, no lie. All the winds from from the central U.S. and everything else was just pushing everything, like just around, like the damn where the event was, and it was so perfect because it was nice and chilly outside. It was a nice cool breeze coming every couple of seconds. It was, God, the sun didn't cook anybody too hard. It was great, man. It was absolutely
yeah. So I'm kind of.
I was like, damn, bro. I thought a lot more people were coming. A lot of my friends didn't go. Swamp, shout out to Swamp. Didn't go either. Yep. They had truck problems, and I was just like, everybody I kept asking. I was texting a day before, like, hey, you coming? Hey, you coming? And then I just kept getting disappointed, so I stopped asking. I was like, I'm just gonna find out.
Right. So it was funny. I was talking to Coda Boy, and originally he was going, then he wasn't going, and then he went. And I'm like, wow, look at that.
Yeah, people get indecisive, and well, hey, look, less people to shoot the gun. I'm just kidding. Honestly, it was really packed. Like I thought it was really, really, really dense. Like a lot of people. They had to organize the parking, so imagine almost the whole entire lot was filled with vehicles.
Yeah.
So you think about it. It's like each one could be potentially carrying 2 people, and it's like almost like you're already at 100 cars. So it's like you're talking, maybe 300-400. I think it was pretty high.
So let's see, when I went to the range where it's at, I've only driven the Envoy. I've never driven the Genesis Coupe, which is low to the ground. Crumpy!
Yo.
Sorry, I have contractors here, and they were doing a bunch of stuff. So my internet was going out because they kept on. They had to unplug the internet and making a bunch of noise. So
yeah. Crumpy just hits me up. He's like, "Hey, can you start without me?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was only going to be like 5-10 minutes, but turned out to be a little bit longer than that, buddy.
Yeah, my philosophy was if I had my choice, I'd drive my wife's car it's like a 10-hour ride because she's got the self-driving, and it's probably the best mileage vehicle that we have. If nobody else is driving and it's just me going solo and I can't drive my wife's car, I'd rather drive the Genesis Coupe because it's fun to drive. But then that last getting to the range is going to kind of suck. And then if it's bad weather, I'd rather drive.
I'll put my Genesis up against your Genesis. Let's go.
Yeah, so John has a 3.3-liter twin turbo with 100 extra horsepower than stock because he's got the mod on it. So I'm only 348 horsepower.
Probably a little bit more.
John's car is 360 stock.
Yeah.
Damn.
365 stock.
Yeah.
Pull it. No,
So,
I think I'm probably a little bit over 500 wheel.
500 wheel?
Yeah.
Really?
I've done some other stuff to it too.
And wait, do you have like 10,000 miles on your car?
15.
Crumpy goes, gets milk around the corner, and drives home, and that's it.
I got it in 2019.
Yeah.
Still fresh.
No, I think it's probably a little bit over 500 wheel.
Wow. And yours is all wheel?
Yeah, it will fucking fly.
So, okay, Ron Wayne.
4-door. I can fit 4 people in there. Put some groceries in the trunk, and
All right, so there's a couple of cars. I'll get to Ron Wayne's comment in a moment. There's like 3 cars are on my list. One is Crumpy's car, the Genesis. That's the G70, right?
G70, yeah.
So the G70, because it'll do a comma AI setup. Plus, there's some bolt-ons and stuff like that you can do, and just flashing it and get some more horsepower out of it.
You don't flash it. You put a piggyback system on there.
Okay, and so that's kind of a cool route to go. Of course, the new Corvette Z06 is on my fantasy wish list.
Can I say something about the G70?
What's that?
For the U.S. market, it is way down-tuned.
Yeah, and companies do that for insurance reasons.
It is way down-tuned. The Korean versions are like 500 horsepower stock, and by putting a piggyback system on there, you can go ahead and get that 500 horsepower back. And then if you really want to get tricky, you can do like an E85, but I don't have that. You
just got to put a methanol sensor on it.
Do some more turbo, some air intakes. Change the intercooler out. You can get that car fast, like scary fast.
It actually, Walter, he's got the a Barth, and he did a race chip box on it. So, all right, I want to roll back to
Hold on.
actually.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They do make a race chip for it, but there is a Burger Motorsports make a what's called a JB4 tuner, which is a lot better for the Genesis at least, which is cool. It's like 530 horsepower. Then for another $100 you can get the Bluetooth, so you can change the thing right from your phone. I don't have that. I should have done that. One thing you do need to do, if you do anything in the G70, like you put the burger tuning stuff on there, you do need to change the spark plugs, and that is not easy in a Genesis G70.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, well, actually, my wife's car, the spark plugs are up against the firewall on the one bank of cylinders, so you have to take the intake manifold off for that. And I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
not happening.
That's basically the G70. So,
yeah,
$300, someone will do it for you.
Yeah. So, all right, and I did talk about having a truck like a Tacoma that uses the comma AI system also. So there's 3 vehicles that are on my want list, but what I want and what I need.
You can't go wrong with it. I love the Taco. That's honestly on our next buy. Honestly,
Yeah.
I fucking love the taco.
They
But,
don't
you know,
break.
at the same time, I like the Tundra too. Tundra's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
got in one. I was just like, you know what? I actually like it a lot.
So
Just replace the
Ron
Velcro.
Wayne.
God, it's ugly. Yeah.
Ron Wayne mentioned about renting a plane and flying. So now here's the problem. FAA wise, your pilot license, or really pilot certificate, never expires. But what does expire is your biannual flight review. So every 2 years, you got to fly with an instructor, and your medical. So I need to get a medical and a biannual flight review, and then I'm square with the FAA. And then what happens is the flight school will want you to go up and, like, where you rent the plane from, they'll want you to take their instructor up and, like, do once around the patch. And when they realize you got more time and knowledge than the instructor, they're like, yeah, okay, just, bring the airplane back, and it's yours whenever you want it.
I should buy an airplane.
You should, Crumpy.
I gotta get my
and then share
first. I just haven't had a chance. I've been so busy with other stuff. Soon, though. Soon.
And did you tell everybody you're afraid to fly?
No, actually, I'm not afraid to fly anymore.
You gave it up for Lent?
No, I thought I was afraid to fly, but then I went up in a small plane and to get over my fear of flying, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of flying. I'm just I guess it's not being in control, not being able to see where I can go. Because it's not claustrophobia, because in fire school we had to crawl through these like mazes that are like it's totally dark. And you have to feel your way through, and it gets really, really tight where you have to take off your Scott pack and put it through.
And push it ahead of yourself?
Yeah. So I'm not so I think it's just that I'm just okay.
So Dark is going to go halvesies on the plane. And Cessna,
I guess we're streaming.
Cessna spelled with a C.
Oh,
that's already a worry. I saw that too, and I'm like, that's not Cessna.
So we're not streaming at 9 p.m. We're going to be streaming at 5 p.m. our regular time tomorrow. So tonight at 9 p.m. is Sabar on Out of Battery Live is going to be doing the first JSD bracket competition, and we're going to do the second tomorrow.
I just saw the schedule and it said 9 p.m.
No, we're not. We're doing it 5 p.m. We're our normal time.
Okay, 9 p.m.
You saw an old schedule then.
Hey, so
you'd be seeing an old schedule.
So I'm going to break the internet a couple times this week, just to let you guys know.
Okay.
Maybe 2, 3.
Wait, what? Did he just say that?
2 or 3 times. I don't know. I haven't decided. I might break it 2 times this week and 1 time next week, or I might just break it 3 times.
Wait a second. The most current breakage, is that going to be the story that you got
today?
Confirmation of?
Yeah.
Earlier today?
Yeah, hopefully that's going to be today. I got all sorts of info on that shit now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, my video is already uploaded. Maybe
I don't know if I'm going to do a video on the topic because my last video sucked so badly.
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it politician related?
No. Maybe I can be a viewer of another channel since
those are my favorite.
No. Somebody totally ripped me off and then try to take credit for it.
Oh shit. What a bastard.
I don't
It's not the first time it's happened with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, they should bring back duels.
At least they didn't crop everything. Logos off. Come on.
Ouch! Ouch! And here's the thing that
channel does that. It's fucking pathetic.
I don't get the deal with. You know what? Give somebody credit. You're not an island out there. You're not actually making the news. If you're reporting stuff from your house, your back deck, or wherever it may be,
a dock.
Big old dock.
Obviously, you're not walking the beat. You're getting the information from somewhere. And it's
CRS is the guy that taught. CRS is the guy that brought me the guy.
Yeah, and look, I did a video.
I credited the British guy's buddy who introduced CRS and everything, and then
so CRS came to me and John with a story, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got it from this guy." So I shouted out the guy, in the comments on my video and stuff like that. I tagged him in the video because that's where the information came from.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to show the thumbnail for the video, but it does say in the corner, what did it say? Hold on. It says, "Don't rip me off, bro." People got who it was. It's just pathetic.
It's not a big deal. I don't do so. Pick somebody that does news on YouTube. It's odd. Let's just pick Jared. I mean, I know Jared. I like Jared. We have a good relationship with Jared.
Let me just say something. It would not be a big deal if it happened once or twice. Oh, they slipped up, whatever. No, if it happens constantly, there you go. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So somebody like Jared, good guy. We all like him, and so Guns and Gadgets, and he gives credit. He tells like, "Hey, I got this from John Crump," or "I got this information from GOA," or he makes sure. Jared has a lot of good sources, and that's part of just something like what John does. John has a tremendous number of good sources, and he has good information coming in all the time.
Yeah, Jared actually has a lot of information. I would consider him an actual journalist.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stories that he develops himself, and he's actually one of the guys working it. Whereas there are other people that see a story and don't give credit for it.
We work on some stories together too.
Yeah. And so just give credit. Just give credit where it happens,
I would say that's impossible for some people. They just want all that glory, man. And then at that point, it's like everybody already accepts that person was the original author, right?
Right.
And then now you get them to delete it, and it's already too late because it's already been broadcast. It's like...
Yeah, and it's kind of like, like I've talked about YouTube. YouTube, I don't do YouTube for money. I do make some money on it, but I have fun doing it. I get to meet cool people, hang out with cool people, do cool things, and it's fun. So, but I don't think if I stopped saying like, "Oh, I got this from John Crump," or here's some news developing from John Crump, I don't think it would make me any more profitable if I didn't give credit. If you give credit to somebody, does it diminish your value? I don't think so, because what'll happen is John will give us a story and he'll say, "Hey, we're not going to release it until 2 p.m. or so. I'm going to release at 2 p.m. You can release after my story goes live." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we all have different spins and takes on it. So it's one, the facts, and then two, what you think this means to the community, or what your spin is on the story. And I think that's valuable because all of us, like CRS has one thing to say about it, Crump has one thing to say about it, Dark has one thing to say about it, I have something to say about it. And it's not all the same. Like we all come up with different takes on the information that comes through. And I think that's what's interesting.
It's a good dynamic because it's also, I think what it is, it's also a sign of respect.
Sure.
Sure. Because it's like, I don't know. That's why it's like when I talk about any of my works, I'm very, very particular who I speak it to and what it is, it's about. Most of the time, that's why I have NDAs. It's just like, fuck that, man. I don't deal with copycats as much anymore, but I've had quite a few back in the day. I mean, hell, I got like probably one of the most like stolen videos of all fucking time now. Like,
yeah,
really,
I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, even Black Rifle Coffee took it, and I was just like, "You'd be fucking kidding me."
Hey, at least at least what happened to Firearms Unknown didn't happen to us.
What's that?
What's that?
When Mr. Guns and Gear ripped their whole video and reposted it on his channel.
No.
Yeah, that's why they had that one where they had the CRS guest star in it. Where you know the one I'm talking about?
I know the one with CRS in it, sure.
Yeah, but they actually had Mr. Guns and Gear in it.
Really? I don't remember that part. Why? Because I remember Scooby-Doo being in it.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on. I'll find it.
Walter's got a point. A lot of people, a lot of agencies are in a rush to be first out there with information. And it's kind of like when something goes bang in the world, my gut is to turn the TV off and watch it in a day or two. Because there's no good information that comes out in the first 24 hours when something goes bang.
Well, a good decent source of information has been coming out from smaller news, like reposters, and they get all their intel and info from direct. And it's like,
right.
It gets a little weird because then you start to ask the question, like, is this shit validated in any way? How can we prove it? But then you have to, destroy their anonymity, and it's like, so for like the whole Ukraine conflict, for example, it's like, what a fucking insane like level of reporting there is on so many pages. Like Newsleak, Our Wars Today, all those pages. I mean, granted, sometimes they screw up and they post some shit that wasn't real, it wasn't accurate, it wasn't vetted that well. But at least the idea is that the exposure is out there. And it's like, now that smaller sources are coming forth, so like guys like you guys and shit, like we need that more than ever. We need more sources to be able to at least disperse information, so that way when, let's say, Crump posts it and then Rich posts it, and you guys have like somewhat differing opinions and not something that's like scripted like all MSM is, then at least I can personally, I would rather sit there and listen to you guys like talk about that situation and to go over what material you guys have on that subject, than to even fucking tune in on MSM or anything like that, because I don't give a fuck about any of that shit, man. It's all targeted. Like, it's all purposely designed to fucking make you think that you're going to live in fear forever. And it's just like, oh, well, there's a big hurricane that's coming right now, and you better get ready, and you better go prep, you better go get all this shit. And then, for some parts, it's like everything was fine. They didn't go crazy.
And even, I'm in Palm Beach, so Walter Keller's over in Safety Harbor, which is, the Tampa Bay area. And even on the East Coast here, word of a hurricane, there was a run on water. Like at Costco, you could only get 2 cases of water, all that bit. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a little bit of and the unfortunate thing is there's hype and panic. And I've seen it. I've been in Florida and I've watched two stories on News 12 Long Island, and one was, so it's probably 9 or 10 years ago. There was supposed to be some sort of nor'easter, and it was a Labor Day weekend. And I guess everybody in the control room, all the directors, must have been on vacation, in Martha's Vineyard or something. And they went every 20 minutes out to Peter Ducey on Nantucket. And it was just the most beautiful day in New England ever. Blue skies, just the reeds and the cattails. It was just fantastic. And they're like, yeah, we're doing that 20-minute, every 20-minute remote to Peter Ducey, no matter what, whether there is or isn't a storm. I was like, holy cow. And then I was watching News 12 Long Island. I don't know if it was like Christmas time. And the snow was melting as soon as it hit the ground. And they're doing it was a girl on the street reporter, and she's telling you how bad and dangerous it was. I'm like, it'd be like rain?
Are you sure?
Yeah. I was like, oh gosh. Did they just hand them the script and say, you got to tell people it's dangerous, it's getting bad out here? And it was just the cutest, like, salt shaker flurries coming down and disappearing.
Well, that's the really insanely efficient thing about MSM. And it's like, it fucking blows my world what level of coordination they have on that.
And the quintessential, I always laugh because if you have somebody out there in a hurricane, it might as well be any other hurricane that ever occurred. You could get file footage from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, show, sideways rain, the guy getting pummeled, and waves crashing on the beach. Yeah. Same shit.
Yep.
There's, other than it saying live above my head, it's meaningless.
Yeah. Well, again, the big thing is the panic. It's the panic before the storm. That's what makes the most profit. At least that's what I think. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I firmly believe like it's a matter. It's a profiteering institution, so it's like they're gonna have profits in
what happens?
Information clarity.
Yeah, what happens is the watch hours go up on the mainstream media when something goes sideways in the world. Everybody starts tuning in, and they want to keep the hype. It's like, you better stay tuned to us. We're bringing you live footage from the beach where the waves are going to crash it.
Well, that's a form of like really, really fucking advanced psychosis that people put themselves into. Because if you think about it, well, I don't want to really talk about it. A certain person I know and love really loves to watch CNN. And it's like every time I pass by, it's always...
You know my father-in-law?
I was watching it. Huh? Oh my god.
You know my father-in-law?
No, I don't. Is he the same? It's one of those. And it's like, it gets to a point where I didn't even realize it until somebody really pointed it out. I'm like, why the fuck do they have the COVID death ticker still showing? And it's just it dawned on me later when they started like revealing more info from Veritas, like from the producers and actual staff that work those shows. It's like, it's just constantly selling panic and fear. And it's like, from an executive level, I understand why they do it. It makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say it, old media is dying. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
At this point, it is entirely inevitable. And they're trying to find whatever means to try to stay afloat because they just have so much fucking overhead with all their little big buildings, all their anchors, all their contracts, all their God knows subsidies, who knows, whatever the fuck else they got going on. And it just, their business model has shifted almost to the point where it's like every single moment is a, every single space, time and space that you have to be able to put anything on the air, it has to drive a rise. And it has to meet a certain agenda. And it's like some people look at you kind of crazy. Like, what do you mean they have an agenda? It's like, it's really fucking simple. It's selling fear. It's selling, like, very simple.
Fear is a great motivator.
And the really crazy thing about it is that a lot of people don't think that, oh, well, you're just crazy. You're just out of your mind. And it's like, you people don't realize it's subtle things. Super subtle. It's very chill. They just take, like, that one little step, and then they say, I'm not going to do that again. But then they take the next little step. I'm not going to do that again. and then the next step, and then you get fucking tired of it, right? I get tired of it.
Right.
I get tired of listening to this bullshit every day, like Russia's using such and such loiter drones, and it's just like, yeah, I know, the war is hell. War is fucking hell. Let's keep going at it. And then they're like, oh, well, now monkeypox. Life is hell. Life is hell. And it's just like, oh, well, now we're worrying about a new fucking institution or, man, I don't even want to call it an institution. I don't even know how to describe it. But like the whole, transgendering thing and how the institutions are profiting so much from it, it blows my mind, man. I got
Crumpy, you trying to get a word in sideways here?
No, I want to show you guys something. This is the media for you, okay? This is definitely media. I'm going to add it to the stream, and you're going to see the media. You ready?
Oh, this is great.
This is the best. This is the best one.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina.
It's winding in my office. Oh my gosh.
That's Mike Seidel in Wilmington, North Carolina. But as he braces and fights the wind Friday, check out the two guys who seem to walk right by him in the background. No trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media.
And he's leaning the wrong direction. You can see the wind is going. I'm backwards, so.
Note that the two individuals in the background are walking on concrete while Seidel tries to maintain his footing on wet grass. The spokesperson
Did you hear what their excuse was?
After reporting on air.
Yeah, wet grass.
Yeah.
So stand up. There was another one where like they're in a canoe and they're going by and people are like, must have been like 1.5 inches of water and there's guys walking by and they're ankle deep. And then didn't Chris Cuomo do it? He was like standing in a drainage ditch. He's like waist deep and people are walking by on the street. And it's like ankle deep water.
Oh my God! Well, actually, what's really crazy about that hurricane? How it flooded the New York subway systems.
Oh, that I got stories about. Remind me, I can tell you stories about that. About a buddy of mine that did some work, architectural work, and there was a building that was flooded by Superstorm Sandy, and then it was flooded. No, wait, I think it was. There were 2 flooding incidents, and I think one was Superstorm Sandy, and like they just got done repairing it, and it flooded again. So.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. That's the system, man. Can't fight it. They try to profit from it and try to make the most out of it, and then hopefully the little guy wins every now and then. But then you get, I don't know, shit for it.
So, guys, I just want to tell everybody, tune in to Out of Battery Live tonight for the JSD competition. And I'm going to call it. We've been on the air for a little more than an hour, and Crumpy's disengaged. He's doing the whole Crumpy business stuff. So, Chris, tell people where they can find you and how they can find you.
You guys can find me on either my website, which is x7studios.net, just to take a look at, what kind of cool stuff we do. I don't have any of the aerial aspect stuff on there, mainly because that's all protected property of such and such. But beyond that, you guys can find me on Instagram. I'm at x7_studios.
There's 3 X7 Studios on Instagram. Are the other 2 fake accounts?
Let's clarify that. Yeah, let's clarify that. I am this one. Here we go. Oh shit. Looking at my info. Right there. So basically, I do video work and photography and drone stuff and outdoor stuff. So, and I like to talk some shit every now and then. It's always a good time.
Yeah, and you're mad tactical.
Actually tactical. I don't know. And I push a lot of training. That's all. But beyond that, you guys can find me there. I have a YouTube also, but I don't really post much on there. I'm in the works of, producing a rather large film. So I'm hoping to put some teasers up soon, some nice new stuff. But yeah, beyond that, it's been fun, guys. It's good talking to y'all.
Alrighty,
and
man.
For the record,
Yeah.
IV 8888 this year was fucking awesome. It was phenomenal.
Cool.
I
Cool.
can't wait for the next one. It was so good seeing everybody. I just wish, I wish all you guys were there, bro. It was
yeah. Yeah, it's fun just to hang out.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, with that, you know how to find me in Crumpy. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to sign off.